I'm Corey.
I'm Jillian.
And we're Living in Diz.
And today we're going to be talking about the most sad and impactful deaths in Disney animation.
We are. So, let's go.
Number 5, Megara from Hercules. So she did die, but we rank this as number 5, the least sad of our list, because she did get revived and she did go to live as an immortal with Hercules.
Okay. What made it
this
sad?
This dude has never watched Hercules, so.
You're calling me out. I haven't seen it.
I love Hercules. Hercules is one of my favorite films.
I know. Stephanie Wyatt loves it too.
Shout out to my girl.
Anything else to say more about Megara?
It made it really sad. I remember that you asked why I was sad.
Why were you sad?
Because, I mean, Megara is just a whole bunch of, yes, slay queen, yes. And I love how she had an attitude and she's like, I don't need a man, I'm by myself. But then she slowly falls in love. And she's just a whole bunch of, yes girl, yes queen, slay. And it was just really sad to see her die because I loved her attitude. So she was taking care of business. Yeah.
How did she die?
So she basically felt like she was betraying Hercules by being Hades' assistant, Hades' servant's slave. So she decided that she would sacrifice herself, go to the underworld, but Hercules decided that he loved her so much, he decided that he would go into the underworld and save her, like make a deal with Hades. So then he does end up reviving her, bringing her back to Earth. So after that, shortly after that, Hercules becomes a god because instead of a demigod, because of all these good deeds he's done. Like he just deserved to become a god. But Megara was left on Earth because she couldn't go to Olympus because she's not a goddess. So Hercules decided that he would give up being a god, go back to Earth, be human with Megara, and they live happily ever after. And I did say that in the previous shot that they lived in like immortal less. No, they're immortal. I just realized that I said mortal. It said immortal. Can't speak English. Can't do English. They're mortal.
Number 4.
Number 4, James from why is it Tatiana? Think of that Bust Down song. Have you heard that Bust Down song?
From the movie?
No.
Oh.
Bust Down.
Oh, no.
Number 4, James from Princess and the Frog. That if you don't know who James is, you're not a true Disney fan. That's sad. Anyway, James is Tiana's father, and he was just so loving, caring. He loved his daughter. They always made gumbo together, and they were just like the cutest father and daughter duo. And that was just really sad to see him die, because like I said, he was just so caring. He was so loving. He had the best relationship with Tiana and his wife. It was just really sad to see him go.
How did that impact her father's death?
It just made her really, really depressed. It also made her mother quite sad, but they kept their chin up. But Tiana actually went on to open up her own restaurant in the end, and that was really...
Make some world famous gumbo?
Yeah,
her
and
dad's
that's...
recipe?
Yeah, her dad's recipe, and that's what I guess her father would have wanted her to do, and just followed in her
Make her
footsteps.
proud.
And she followed in his footsteps. So that'd be great.
Yeah.
That was it.
So what do you call us again? The most impactful or
Most sad and
impactful deaths?
Number 3, Ellie from Up. That was just so depressing. That was so sad because what was his name again? From Up?
Carl.
Yes, Carl.
From the very beginning, you see this whole montage of their lives together.
Like one.
And you really
like
get to know them in a short period of time.
The first shot being them as kids and then going out on adventures and having fun. Then teenagers, then young adulthood, adults, and like till they got older and older and older. They basically spent their whole life together, and they were just the cutest couple. And then she died, and he just became so depressed. That was his lifeline.
It was.
Loved her so much.
Truly his other half.
The
way Ellie's death impacted Carl was he was driven to fulfill a dream that they had, where they were saving up for a trip to go to a special island. And so he does whatever it takes to get to that island and kind of fulfill their dream together. So just another example of how a death can make us stronger and drive us towards some goals.
And after that, he just felt so depressed because that was his everything right there. That was his everything.
But then you get to meet Kevin, which is a female
and
bird.
Russell.
And Doug. Number 2, we're almost to the end. Number 2, most
Mufasa.
impactful, saddest death.
You should do that again.
Okay. The number 2 most impactful and saddest death in Disney animated history is Mufasa. You are the one true king. It's okay. It's okay. Really. So how was this death impactful for Simba?
Ooh, cause he was just so excited. He was like, "Oh, I can't wait to be king." And that his father was his role model. That was the most important person in his life. And just imagine your role model, everything, just dying.
So how did that impact Simba the most?
It drove him to battle his uncle Scar. He died. Thank God. I never say that about someone dying, but he was just such a bad person.
Thanks to Simba.
Thanks to Simba.
He would gain the throne.
Exactly.
Most impactful.
And that was revenge actually, because Scar killed Mufasa. Finally, we've made it to number 1.
Number 1.
Tadashi Hamada from Big Hero 6.
From Big Hero 6, which was the older brother of
Hiro Hamada.
That's right. Talk about it.
So it was just very, very sad because he was just so smart. I talk quite a bit about role models in this video. That was Hiro's role model. That was his older brother. He loved him so much that
he looked up to him.
He looked up to him. He followed in his footsteps because he was like, "Ooh, I want to be an inventor. I want to get into the robotic stuff." Because his brother was actually an inventor. If you have not seen the movie, that is very sad. But he was always interested in robotics, and he was the one that created Baymax. So he was just very, very inspired by him. That was his role model. It was just really, really sad because that was his older brother. Mm-hmm. That was his older brother, and they had like the greatest connection.
How did this impact? Now Hiro had already developed the microbots. So how did it drive him for the rest of the story after his brother had a tragic death of running back into the building to save others or save the teacher?
Actually, the teacher didn't really die.
But he thought he was in there.
He thought he was in there, but actually, that was the day the showcase, the presentations were going on for potential new students. So of course Hiro entered because he really wanted to get into the nerd school that Tadashi was in and his friends. So he actually left his barrels of microbots because he made barrels and barrels of them. Sadly, Tadashi actually died in the fire trying to save him. But in the end, it was just Tadashi that died, which was very, very sad. So
I guess it gave Hiro the drive to fight this villain and I guess bring justice to everything. All right, well, there we go. I hope you enjoyed our top 5 most impactful and saddest deaths in animated Disney movies.
I hope I explained like how they died, like the impact okay to you, so you could understand, because I will admit I'm not the best at.
If you have any others, you can comment below or comment on what we talked about. For now, I'm Corey.
I'm Jillian.
And we're living in Diz.